Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. You might have made one going to Tallahassee.
If y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shally-oo, pretty girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Peep the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets out the buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We getting buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Buckets. I'm Matty I, she's Melissa, and he is Vish. How we doing tonight, guys?
Wow,
that was dope. You've been
holding back on it. Look at this man sandbagging for
Matt's got like the radio voice.
What
the hell was that?
I used to do this on Kane's Call-In all the time. I was the one that had to intro the show. So
You were holding back on us, man. You're like waiting for the season, sandbagging.
For everyone who doesn't know, we discussed this before, like, oh, who's gonna intro the show? And Matt never speaks up, so it's always me or Vish. But obviously, Matt is the best introer, and it's probably gonna be him every single time now.
It's Melissa, it's because you get enamored by the intro video. By the way, you posted in the private chat about my old picture, and I was just remembering. I was like, man, I forgot that that's in the intro. I was thinking to myself.
Yeah, we gave Matt a hard time about his YouTube thumbnail, and so he took it down, but it's in our intro, so it's going to live in infamy now.
The internet is forever, man.
We have to use that clip forever now. What's everybody drinking today?
Water.
Look at you all hydrating.
Water in a Miami glass?
Oh, I got my Gatorade jug.
Oh, what is that?
Matt's got his men's league finals tomorrow, so he's got to hydrate. You know.
Yeah, we don't have to use enemy products there, man. We don't do Gatorade.
Naturally, we called it Gatorade.
Kate's today showed up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got is that a new logo?
That is his new logo. Yeah, I think he rebranded.
Yeah, he hasn't been around in a bit. He's forgotten about us.
Well, apparently not this time. So he's ready for the season.
I have to send you a picture of the shorts I'm wearing, Melissa. I'm not going to show them now because obviously I'm wearing them, but they're like horror movie villains. Like
that's pretty sick.
Shorts. Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Yeah. Me and Matt like to talk basketball shorts. Vish could care less, but you know.
Well, Jack McClinton does too. So.
Yeah, next off season when we need filler again, we'll have to go through our basketball shorts collection. But
power rankings.
The season is upon us, and so you're going to be seeing a lot more of us, whether it's 2 or 3 of us, with shorter pods that are not 2 hours talking about all the games. So make sure y'all are tuning in for that, or better yet, subscribe to our podcast and listening to us on the way to work or in Kane's today. Fashion on the way to school or home from school. What up, Bryce? I met Bryce at the football game the other weekend. Good people.
Yeah, and we'll probably have some audio only content on basketball as well as we just pump crap out. So make sure you're subscribed to the audio podcast because we cover men's and women's. So usually about 4 games a week. Going to be a lot.
We got to enjoy a men's scrimmage the other day.
We did.
I've never had Zaxby's.
Hold on. Yes, let's this is worthy of.
Canes today said Zaxby's is greater than Chick-fil-A. I can't comment because I've never had Zaxby's, so I can't give an opinion. I don't know.
You also never gave a ruling on where you landed on Bojangles.
I've never had a Bojangles chicken sandwich, so
Wait,
I also can't.
You ate tenders.
I got tenders, so I mean, if you want to rate Bojangles overall versus Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna go Chick-fil-A because of the mac and cheese. But Bojangles biscuits do keep them up there. But I haven't had their chicken
Chick-fil-A
sandwich
today.
I did have Chick-fil-A today.
Yeah. What's the?
I actually have
Okay.
I actually got fries today, and then I got an extra mac and cheese for after the pod.
What's the line for how many times a week Melissa goes to Chick-fil-A? Are we safe to
Wait,
say?
don't
It's
answer
over-
it.
it's
No,
No, I'm gonna set the line. Oh, I was gonna set the line.
No,
for
you
y'all.
can't set the line. You know the
line.
answer.
Yeah. What do you think, Vish?
Per week.
Like 2.5 or 3.5?
I think 2.5 is the right number. I think it's
2.5
sometimes 2,
too.
sometimes 3.
That's under. That's under.
Oh my god.
gonna
Okay.
say-
I was gonna say
You have
3.5
to remember I work nights and I work 3 to 4 night shifts a week. I don't get Chick-fil-A when I'm going to work. So I generally will have it once a week for the most part, maybe twice. And the only reason why I had it today, because usually I only get it on Saturdays, is just because like I had to go back to work last night after like being off for 2.5 weeks, and like that kind of sucked. So I needed like a pick me up. But yeah, usually it's just once a week on Saturdays. Occasionally twice when I'm like really in the need.
Okay, hold on. So,
Okay, that makes sense because I had it on Saturday and I sent you a picture and you had it too.
the math isn't mathing because most of the shows.
Yeah,
we
but
do
Saturday
around-
is from the week before because I haven't had it like on
Oh.
vacation at all. Like I didn't have it for 2 weeks
Most
while I
of
was
our
on
shows
vacation.
are on weekdays. We have done some pregame football and postgame football
Oh,
stuff.
I've had it twice a week. I've had it twice a week.
I
a
was
few
saying,
times.
like the math is not adding
Yeah.
up here. This is only on Saturdays. Crap, you're trying to.
But you
sell.
also have to remember there are some Saturdays I haven't had it because we've been tailgating or I've been away. So I've had it during the week during our pod, but I haven't had it on Saturdays because I haven't been home.
Wow, that's surprising. I eat Chick-fil-A or I eat Chipotle more often than you eat Chick-fil-A, I think.
Oh, I would eat Chipotle a lot if it didn't give me horrible reflux, but that's a whole nother story we don't have to talk about.
Anyway, anyone had Raising Cane's?
Yeah.
There's one on South
there's-
Beach that I'm gonna have to go
it's-
try.
I
not
would
even worth-
honestly,
It's not worth going to the beach for that.
honestly, the sauce is good, but I would actually put Chick-fil-A ahead of Raising Cane's. I don't think the
Wow.
one near my house like has really gone down. Like whenever I get it, it's like soggy. It's not good.
So it's like
I
Chick-fil-A.
will say when me
No,
and Vish were in
soggier.
North Carolina, when me and Vish went to North Carolina, since I had a 4.5 hour flight delay and didn't get in till like 11 o'clock, we ended up at Cookout. And as much as Cookout is like known for their milkshakes because they're amazing, their chicken nuggets were complete garbage. Like there was no seasoning, nothing. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, I thought overall. I think what did
I think you tried one. I think I had you. I'm like, try these.
Yeah.
They're bland.
Yeah, the only thing that was like, I think there were like cheese bites or whatever that were okay. Because the
Yeah.
rest of
The
it, like
cook-
they were
the
fried.
milkshakes are bomb. The
I
milkshakes
had
are
like
amazing.
a burger
but-
that was not very good. Yeah, Cookout, thumbs down.
But the milkshakes, thumbs up.
Yeah, well, I didn't
And
do
then
the
me and Vish
milkshake.
did have Bojangles the next day. They were out of like 3 different sodas.
What do we end up with? Cheerwine, right? That's where we had.
We ended up with Cheerwine because I ordered a Pepsi, even though I'm more of a Coke person, but I just got a Pepsi and I like didn't have it. And then I think you ordered what were you gonna get?
Pepper or something.
Or yeah,
In
something.
Whatever. We ended up asking. them
Our
what-
only options were either like sweet tea, Mountain Dew, or Cheerwine. They were out of like all of the fountain drinks, so we ended up with Cheerwine.
I've never had Cheerwine before.
It's
I know what it
it's
is,
kind of
but-
like cherry Coke. It's kind of
I
like cherry
actually-
Coke. It's actually pretty good. I like
actually
it.
saw it in the grocery store here, which was surprising.
I saw it.
We
You know
saw
where I
the thing.
did see it, and I was like, I should try it. It was at. Do you guys have like Total Wines near you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They had it at Total Wine. Super random. I'd never seen it in a store here at all, but they had it at Total Wine.
Total Wine is just the greatest place on earth.
It is. It's amazing.
It's got everything. It's just amazing
Vish, I
place.
missed you this past weekend. It's like the first weekend I hadn't seen you in like weeks.
Yeah, and you know what I miss? the fucking cold front that came through on Tuesday, and it is freezing here. It's in the 30s. We got a freeze warning for like 2 days straight.
Is that a hoodie you're wearing?
I am legitimately hoodie wearing for the weather. I'm not you. Like,
wait, let me see it. It looks cool.
It's this one.
Oh, I like the like half white, half.
I have an
orange.
I have an orange and a black.
Is that Adidas?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. That type of lettering. I'm pretty sure it's
probably
Adidas.
is. But I don't see they usually put the logo somewhere. I don't see it. I don't know.
I'm wearing a Mosh hoodie today. I'm wearing this hoodie is expensive hoodie.
Yeah, no, definitely
Hoodie,
not. I only wear hoodies when necessary. It's fucking cold here, man.
I think we should discuss our trip to California next year to see the football team play Cal and have Matt join us. No, we'll discuss that on a football show. But should we get into some basketball talk?
I feel like just to be clear, Matt, you have to fly, right, to get out. I'm
gonna drive.
How long is that?
How many hours away is it from you?
It's like 6 hours. It's nothing.
It'll take us like the same amount of time to fly there as you're driving.
Yeah, but if the airport is a huge hassle. I'd have to probably leave from LAX for it to be a cheap flight, and like it's a 40-minute drive to LAX, and then it's just a hassle going to LAX. Me and Vish should
fly into you, and we can all road trip together.
Vish does not want to do that.
There's no way
I'm
getting on a plane for like 6 hours to get to Los Angeles to get in a car for 6 hours. I can just fly straight to the Bay Area.
Trying to support our guy, but never mind.
He is choosing his own travel method. I'm not making him get in a car and drive 6 hours. You can get a plane.
I mean, I don't like massive road trips either. I was just trying to be
though. It's like a really beautiful.
I am being a friend. I'm telling him to get on an airplane and fly versus. How is us?
Should we discuss the quote of the day? The quote of the week, said by Jack McClinton on our previous pod. How far was the line though?
Well, I mean, I'm playing for a championship tomorrow. I don't know what Jack's doing. So,
whoa, that's my guy there.
Hey, if we want to get Jack back on the show, chill.
I was talking to Jack.
Hey. See, I'm actually being supportive of our guy here because this man drops buckets.
Can we say though too? Speaking of Jack, he told us that he was going to be doing some play-by-play and commentary for the Canes, and he did a really good job. He was very insightful. I really liked how he did that game. It was very entertaining, and he brought a lot of different insight, right? Whenever you have the former players and stuff.
Yeah, like even just like little things. He's talking about like footwork or like shots and following through on free throws and things. I usually hate commentary because usually the commentators are garbage, but no, he was really good.
Yeah, he was so fixated on the guy, one of the guys on the other team, his shoes, like what they were. So I DM'd him and I was like, I was pretty sure they were Klay Thompson's, like the Wakanda Forever like colorway or whatever. So that's how I started talking to him, but it was super random. But
Canes today is shouting out your interview at ACC Media Day, Vish.
I did several of them, but I guess he's probably talking about the one that was on TV. Because I was gonna get the podcast though. There's also
y'all gotta listen to the podcast. There's some podcast only stuff from Media Day.
Because there's the press conference, but then there's breakouts where you just do audio. It's not like not recorded video, but you can do audio.
Some really good content. Because Vish obviously follows both basketball programs a lot more than most media, and so got a lot better content than anyone else probably would have gotten. So.
Well, the women's.
Hopefully, all of us go to Media Days next year.
The women's went off the rails thanks to Coach Meyer. But
Coach Meyer asked about the chicken. She yelled about the chicken from across the room.
She derailed it right into chicken. It wasn't even It was. She talked about the shorts she's giving Melissa, and then asked if I got Bojangles. Keep in mind, I'd already been in North Carolina the previous week and got Bojangles, but actually showed her where the nearest Bojangles was.
Shout out to the GOAT, Coach Meyer, who, after hearing me talk about the practice shorts multiple times, has secured me a pair. I don't know if they're going to fit because the tag says medium on them, but if they don't, I will like frame them and hang them up and be like, I have a pair of practice shorts.
I feel like you should just ask her to sign them and hang them anyway.
It'll be fine. Just wear them like the And One style.
That's true.
The baggy.
That's true. I should just get her to sign them and then hang them up. Like that would like I feel like I'm gonna have so much stuff to put on the wall that the shoe rack is just gonna have to move. Like because I still have the 2012, 2013 poster that I want to frame and get and,
Well,
and hang up. I don't even know where I'm putting that.
Here's the novel concept. The shorts that are hand selected and given to you by the coach, hang those, wear the shoes you purchased from Adidas.
That's true.
You could wear those. They don't need to be on display.
Before we get into actually talking basketball, the only reason why I'm stubborn about moving the shoe rack is because I spent 4 hours putting it together. It was not easy. Because the screws that you have to use or whatever, like my mom's boyfriend came down. I was like, hey, bring your tools because I want to use your power drill to put this together. We'll put it together in like 30 minutes and I'll buy you lunch. So him and my mom came down. We were going to spend the afternoon together. But the screws that you use, the drill bed was like none of the drills parts that you can use to screw stuff in. None of it worked. You had to use this little tiny tool. I have it in a bag, but I'm not going to take it out. So it's just like one at a time manually, and
it's
like
just an Allen wrench.
Yeah, it was an Allen wrench, right?
Whatever the little tiny thing is, I don't know. I don't know about tools. It's just like it was almost like like an L shape, but it's like really tiny.
It's an Allen.
Like,
It's
yeah.
you know, you can get an actual Allen wrench that'll and even a ratcheting one.
I didn't have so it was just that little thing, and so like each shelf was like 6 different screws, and then you had to put the side, and it was a pain in the butt. It took hours. And you know what we got in between because we were hungry?
Oh my god.
Chick-fil-A. Wasn't even my idea. My mom said, hey, we should order Chick-fil-A. And I was like,
oh god,
I love you, Mom.
So we know where this problem
you
started.
eat Chick-fil-A so much that whenever I see you, all I can think of is my pleasure. It freaks me out when they say that to me too. It's weird, man.
It is when
it's so
like
weird.
Not just Chick-fil-A, but like the whole South, everyone's very polite and it's very uncomfortable. Like I need to pull up to the drive-through and have the person say, "What you want?" Not, "Hey, are you having a great day?" I'm like, I'm not trying to have a conversation with you. What is this? What is happening here? Did you break your beach ball or something? Why?
I'm pulling out the Shane Larkin bobblehead so we can start talking some hoops because we've gotten derailed for the first 15 minutes of the pod.
What happened to the beach ball?
The beach ball is here, but that was me more motivating y'all. So let's talk some hoops. But I have the beach ball with its 15-year-old air.
Can't believe it's held up.
I need Matt to send me a Gundama though.
Didn't you say they were really expensive? I feel like we've had this conversation.
No, they're not that expensive. No.
Wait,
I was just wondering what's going on.
When they first came out, they were like a little.
Well, what's going on is you're seeing the brand that you and I spelled several years ago right down the toilet. That's what you're seeing.
All right.
Oh my god. Can I talk something that's
first.
not related while Jazz is here and just reminded me? I got betrayed by one of my favorite fast food chains. My Taco Bell mobile app account got hacked. And all my credit cards. I had to cancel all of them.
Did you?
So,
aren't you the one who made Jazz download it?
Yeah. Jazz and Matt talk Taco Bell in our group chat. In our six ring group chat, Jazz and Matt talk Taco Bell and got Jazz to download the Taco Bell app.
By the way,
that may seem really random, but to them it means something.
Yeah. By the way, Jazz, they have free breakfast tacos on Tuesday mornings. So just letting you know.
Don't you have to use the app to get that, or stuff?
Yeah, but I mean, it's worth.
So wait, do you have to make a new app now? Do you have to like? Did you use all your benefits?
I'm sure you had to cancel all your credit cards.
I canceled all my credit cards, got new ones, changed changed.
I will say,
all my account info.
Matt, that's happened to me twice. I've had to change my credit card once, and I've had to change my savings and my checking account once because somebody hacked my savings and took $5,000 from my savings.
Oh, geez.
Someone pretended to be me and walked into a bank in Pennsylvania and somehow was able to get a debit card in my name and took out $5,000. It's okay. My bank returned it. Shout out to my bank. I didn't know if I should say the name of my bank, but shout out to my bank.
Might as well.
Wells Fargo.
No, wait, no, fine, do that.
Matt told me to.
Yeah, what are they going to do?
I don't know. They hacked her already without any information. Maybe don't know.
They'll find it anyways.
Also, can't say it comes out the other end usually in that same consistency, but
all right, let's talk. We're talking men's or women's.
You're not even an adult yet. I'm not gonna value your opinion.
In this case, he knows. In this case, he knows what he's talking about.
Well, I haven't had Zaxby's yet, so I have to. I don't know if I can value Kane's today's opinion yet. Because we don't have those in South Florida. I don't know, where is there even a Zaxby's?
I think it's in the South also. All right, can we talk?
Bitch, we've got 15 minutes of a tangent food pod.
And believe it or not, contrary to the 6 ring intro, I did show prep this time. You guys derailed the whole thing.
I looked at it though.
I know there's notes, and I was like,
Google
here's the rundown. Here's how we're going to keep it tight. I got F1 at 9, so we got to run through this stuff.
Jazz is making. Hey, Jazz, can I come over after and get some of those nachos?
Nachos happening?
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about. I did see it, Kane State. We have a. I did show.
Me and Matt are fighting over the president of Keyshawn's.
No, I decided to come up with. I think we can be co-owners of the Keyshawn George. Yeah.
You're co-owning a player?
I mean,
no, the fan club.
Was it John Rothstein who tweeted about him, and me and Matt were like,
yeah, you tagged him.
Yeah, should have come on the show.
If you should have come on the show, John.
All right.
I'm
all right.
also clipping this later and tagging
No,
him.
we're doing the basketball show.
All right, let's go. Men's first.
Yeah, we're doing men's. It's on the rundown. Men's, then Prize Picks, then women's. Like I wrote all this stuff down, and
I
looked at it. All right. I saw it.
Although
anyway.
I did start with intro, and I did not think it would be 20 minutes on Taco Bell, but whatever. All right.
It was more like 18 because our actual intro is about 2 minutes long. Anyway, let's go. What shall we talk about first?
Well, I wonder what we're going to talk about first. If only there was a document that would.
I don't have it open right now, so I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Vish, I have it open. Should we go over? I know it's not technically on here, but should we talk about the exhibition game?
Yeah, we can do that first.
First and foremost.
See, I don't even have to look at the document to suggest that. So the starting lineup for the exhibition, Wooga was out. I think he's still nursing a little bit of a hamstring groin, something.
Groin.
Yeah. So Keyshawn George started in his place, which already prompted my discussion about how he's going to be like the best 6-man in the conference this year. So Keyshawn started in his place. So it was Nigel, Keyshawn, Norchad, Matthew Cleveland. Did I name 5 people?
Did you say Bensley and Nigel?
There we go.
You missed Bensley.
I was like, I was like, who am I missing? I just had a brain fart. So those were our starting 5. And then we saw minutes from Nwoko. We saw minutes from AJ Casey. We saw minutes from Jakai and from Chris Watson, and even Joe Bay got in at the end of the game. And then our walk-ons. So who stood out to you guys?
Matt, I'll let you say it since I know you want
to. Right out the gate, Norchad, man, he was dominant at the start. I thought his ability to put the ball on the floor.
Norchad.
What?
I thought you were gonna say Keyshawn.
Oh no! I mean,
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I'm going in order. Norchad looked a lot more comfortable putting the ball on the floor. He made a 3.
Yep. He was 1 for 2.
Yeah, he was 1 for 2. I liked what Jack McClinton said though, that he needs to speed that release up. If you watch him shoot free throws, his release is a little quicker, but he still has that soft touch. But no, his ability to put the ball on the floor, I think, is going to open a lot of things up offensively and just create mismatches for him. I think he had like the first 6 points or something. So he got off to a hot start. I will mention Keyshawn as well, because I thought, you saw his versatility, being 6'8" on offense, playmaking, his ability to shoot the ball. He struggled a little early, but I think he got into a rhythm eventually. I don't think he missed a shot in the second half, I want to say. But then also on defense too, that length was really disruptive in the passing lanes. He's pretty quick for his size. So I think having that versatility on defense as well is something that sticks out. And then, am I just going to say everyone that I thought stuck out, or should I leave some people for you guys? Okay, go ahead.
Save some for the rest of us. So I was going to talk about Keyshawn a little bit, just because people got to remember when he came on his visit last year, he was 6'5", and now he's 6'8" with the skills of a guard. So as he kind of gets used to playing, college basketball, and getting used to the speed of the game, he played in a pro league in Europe and whatnot. He's going to be kind of the wild card for us because of his length and his ability to most likely play multiple positions, because he kind of has the skills of a guard, but he's 6'8", so you could see him maybe defending the 3, defending the 4. And he's put on some muscle, he's put on a little bit of weight. So, and just him running the floor, just his athletic ability. I was and his hair, but we won't go there. I love his hair. I also kind of who stood out to me, and obviously this might not be someone you think of, but I actually really enjoyed watching Nwoko. He, for someone coming in out of high school, he's gonna play meaningful minutes for us. The only thing that I want from him is that I want him to go up stronger when he's at the basket. He was kind of just putting up these little layups or throwing the ball up when he can go up for a dunk. And I think as he gets used to the speed of college basketball and everything, I think that's something he's going to improve on. But like on the defensive side of the ball, I think he played really good, and I'm excited to see him grow. He's going to get minutes with our lack of depth down low, so he's going to be one to watch as well through his time at Miami.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in Matthew Cleveland's rebounding. That's something he's gonna play the 4, and he was more on the perimeter last year for Florida State, so that he's willing to go in there and someone else has to rebound other than Norchad. So that was something I was looking. Again, the opponent's overmatched, so it's hard to evaluate anyone. But he's got the stick, and he's gonna have to get dirty this year because he's got to play in the paint more and guard 4s, and so that was good to see.
Bryce is talking about how we got a layup and then TCNJ went down the court and got 3 points. Our transition defense maybe needs a little bit of work, but I think our defense in general is something that we're going to be working on throughout the whole year, because we obviously have a lot of offensive firepower, but again, we got to, the defense especially got to work on it as a whole, everybody.
Yeah, and then the other thing that was mentioned in the chat, let me get it up here in terms of a negative, was the turnovers.
Yep.
I'm not as concerned, but we generally have been a low turnover team since we kind of switched to the system, and it's the first half of the first exhibition.
I felt like a lot of the turnovers were due to like chemistry too. Like, there was one where Matt Cleveland should have stayed in the corner, but he ended up diving to the basket. Keyshawn drove in, thought he was in the corner, and threw it over his head, so it's kind of like unforced turnovers. Obviously you don't want to see any turnovers, but dead ball turnovers are better than live ball turnovers, right? But definitely something to improve on, and I think it will get better the more time these guys get together.
Yeah, and again, this isn't, so some of the stuff that's being talked about in the chat too is getting a layup and then they go down, shoot 3. I mean, that's why you play exhibition games.
Yeah,
like that so you get some of that stuff out of the way. And then Jazz's point on Norchad, I think he's going to have a monster year. And it'll be in the running for ACC Player of the Year.
Louisville did lose in their exhibition to I forgot what team, but
that's because they're ass, man. They're ass.
Yeah.
I think it was a D3 school. It was either D3
and
or
FSU barely beat Flagler. They were only up 2 at halftime against Flagler, and I think they ended up winning by 8 or 9. So
yeah, I mean, those are not.
Louisville also wasn't really good last year either, and they lost their best player to the portal. So
yeah, Louisville's in for a very, very, very rough season.
A guy that had a great name in L. Ellis.
Yeah. Now he's in the SEC.
Arkansas, yeah.
All right. Now can we go down the show order here?
Yeah, but I go.
All right. So the first topic is the schedule. So this is kind of, again, it's an opinion thing because we did a schedule breakdown when it came out, but all right, so everyone, I want you to list what game you're most looking forward to and which one you're least looking forward to. So we'll start with Matt since he actually read the show notes. Do you want to go close?
I did read the show notes.
I'm messing with you, buddy girl. Relax.
So can I go with 2? Because I'm going 1 non-conference and 1 conference game.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The one I'm looking forward to, non-conference, obviously Kentucky's a big game, but I'm actually going with the one against Colorado. I think Colorado is going to be one of the best teams in the Pac-12. I think they have the opportunity to win the Pac-12 this season. They have a lot of returning talent, guys coming back. I think that's going to be a fun game. It's at Barclays, right?
Yes.
That one.
Barclays.
Yeah.
Me and Dick might actually go to it.
Well, I'm
I know,
definitely going. She's
I want to go,
questionable.
but yeah.
That's far.
You think Dion shows up? I don't know. I'm
Is
just
that gonna make you
wondering.
decide if you're gonna go or not?
No, I was just.
I'm assuming at that point he's gone.
No, it's the
to, like-
beginning of December.
Yeah.
They may be prepping for a bowl
Oh,
game.
that's true. I forgot it's that it's earlier.
Either or if the season's over, he's back in a warm weather climate. He's not going up to New York.
Yeah, that's true. And then the other one I have is February 21st against Duke at home. I think that's a big one. Towards the end of the season, I think that could be big with going into March. Build some hype and whatnot. It would be a big win.
So Matt.
So I guess I should just say
excited
you can
for
definitely repeat if you want. If there's something like
Yeah, I'll go with another one since you mentioned a few that I'm excited for. Duke at home is going to be good. I think Kentucky is going to be fun. But I'll pick FSU at FSU in the last game of the season to see Matt Cleveland return to play against his former team. I'm hoping to see him ball out in that game and hopefully get a win.
Fish.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just throw out assuming we beat Georgia on the Friday in Bahamas, that game on Sunday will be against Kansas State or Providence. That'll be
good, yeah.
That'll be a good one. Good test on neutral site.
Can I say which game I'm not looking forward to?
Well, I mean, we can go back around and do that. So
the one I'm not looking forward to is that Florida State.
Really?
Because I feel like that's just like, I mean, past 2 seasons. I mean, we haven't. Obviously, Florida State's a different program, but obviously
we beat them at home last year.
Yeah, but we didn't.
We did not.
No, we did not. We beat them away.
We beat them at their home last year. Yeah,
but we still lost. We're what? We're 1-8 or 9.
Yeah. Well, the way they beat us at home this past year,
also
we have that guy now.
In our last one there. So.
Yeah, but I think Florida State's going to be better this year too. To be honest with you, so they have length, they have athleticism. Anyone can beat anyone in college basketball.
Oh yeah,
I would say
they played really well against Flagler.
It's one exhibition.
I mean, they lost to a D2 team last year and they beat us. So
who did they lose to last year? I don't really follow FSU basketball.
What was their names?
The one thing, so Bryce called on the chat. I would say, I hate having that one random ACC game at the beginning of December. So that Notre Dame one, I don't like having it floating around there. It is one I expect us to be able to win, but like it just sucks. If you win that, it's great because you're carrying all right, we won it on the ACC for a month, but if you lose it, you're 0-1 for a month. And it kind of hangs around there, and you feel like you spend the whole rest of the season chasing.
I don't know. That home game against Duke is going to be interesting. Because Duke's going to be good this year. So I'm just hoping we can, obviously I want the win, but at least keep it close because I think
at least keep it close.
They're a really good team this year.
Man,
I mean, Coach L is one of the best coaches when it comes to playing against Duke. I think he has the best record against Duke. He's right around 500, I want to say, right?
A little bit above, a little bit below. I don't remember.
But this is when
I'm just nervous for that game. I'm nervous. That's gonna be a big matchup for us.
I am nervous for nothing. I think we're still. Well, we'll get to this later. So I'll park that for now, and because we do have a couple of kind of season level questions coming up. But
Bryce says he's not looking forward to Virginia Tech or UNC.
Let's see.
Is Baycott gonna have his breakout year this year?
Is VT just a road game? We don't have them at home. Yeah, I guess so. And then
I don't know. Versus Virginia is going to be interesting too.
We got two.
I mean, Clemson worries me more than probably Virginia Tech or.
Yeah, it's just Virginia Tech is just we're playing Virginia Tech twice also. Looks like we're playing Virginia Tech and North Carolina twice. Just looking through this. Yeah.
Oh wait, do we play Clemson away actually?
I think we get them at home. We get them at home.
Oh no, it's at home. Okay, I thought that one. Oh no, we get them away too.
We do. We
Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got two chances to make $20.
Or to break even, or to lose 40.
I think that Syracuse one will be interesting too, because I think Syracuse could potentially be like a top 5 team.
So actually, let's talk about that real quick before we pivot to the next topic. But so they, at the ACC kickoff, that was one of the press conference things I attended, because ours was that morning session. I was waiting for our team to show up, so I was like, whatever else is there, I'll sit through. They're dumping the zone. There's going to be a transition there. This is a program that hasn't played defense since the 70s, other than that. So, like... Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of the personnel that they got, or that was on roster, transferred out from that.
Right, like, but I'm just talking about... I'm talking about more like, so they promoted an assistant. Like, there's got to be some growing pains. They're just like, hey, we're going to have to... Like, everything they do is going to be different. Yeah, but I mean, I think also, too, they had two of the best... They have two of the guys that were the best freshmen in college basketball last season, and in a position that matters the most. I mean, the guard position is so important in college basketball. I think that they can definitely elevate the team, and they still have other guys too. Benny Williams, I think, is still there. I don't know. He was one of the guys. Remember, I told you about the interviews they were doing with asking guys in the ACC if they could beat Victor Wembanyama one-on-one. I think he said he would beat him 21-0 or something. But no, so they have some guys. It's going to come down to coaching and stuff. Obviously, when you promote a assistant coach like that, what's going to happen. I think they're going to suck. Anyway, moving on.
Vish doesn't hold back his opinions.
I mean, Matt didn't either. He just had a positive one.
No, I'm saying out of the teams that are picked to finish, like, because they've been widely picked to finish like 9th or 10th, I could see them most likely be like finishing like 5th or something. I'm not saying they're gonna finish 5th. I think they're like a dark horse, candidate, if that makes sense.
I think they're gonna suck. All right,
You think they're gonna suck?
Yes. All right, so next topic is kind of, I think we all, is there any dissenting opinion on the starting 5, like in terms of Nigel, Bensley, Wooga, Cleveland, Norchad? We're good there. Okay, so then so this is where it gets a little bit more challenging. So who do you think rotates in and plays? Who do you think are the key players, that are going to eat most of the bench minutes? How big do you think the rotation is going to be? Throw it to you first, Melissa.
AJ Casey's going to get big minutes. I think Keyshawn's going to get big minutes. I think Nwoko, out of necessity for size, is going to get meaningful minutes.
Okay, so you're using two terms there. You're doing big and meaningful. So does that mean like you think Casey and George will play more, and then Nwoko will play?
I think George is definitely. I think George is going to be our 6th man because he's so versatile and he can play multiple positions. Nwoko and Casey, I could see, depending on the game, one of them getting more minutes than the other, and then having it flip-flop. Honestly, I got to see Nwoko against more talent. We kind of saw a little bit of AJ Casey last year. We'll have to see how he develops, and then Nwoko is a true freshman. So I think it depends. I think they both get good minutes just because we need the depth. Guard position-wise, obviously Keyshawn. I think Chris Watson is going to get minutes. And Jakai looked good in that exhibition. So I don't know how much minutes he's going to get, but I'm interested to see what he does. But Keyshawn and then AJ and Nwoko for sure, I think, are 3 that are going to get good minutes. High garbage truck at Matt's place.
It's the bus, right? We've been through this, or is it the garbage truck this time?
No, it's a garbage truck this time. Melissa was right.
Truck.
Yeah,
she could smell it from there.
That would be really bad if I could.
That's just the Chick-fil-A, man. That's not the...
Oh, God, he's throwing that thing in reverse. What is he doing? Did you hear that? That was so loud.
Yes, we can hear everything. We can hear the beeping. We can hear the gear shift.
Matt, who do you think's going to get?
He's still got it.
Who do you think's going to be in the rotation off the bench?
Well, I agree with you. I think Keyshawn George is going to have the most minutes off the bench. And then it's kind of up in the air from there. I think to start in the season, I think we're going to see like a 9-man rotation, just to kind of see, coach is going to test out who he has and whatnot. What?
The garbage. Like,
No,
you can
it's
hear
not gonna
everything.
be.
Like,
I'm
dude,
sorry. What do you
you're
want me to?
there-
Here.
Listen, if
Go ahead.
if he closes the
Go ahead,
window,
babe.
if he closes the window, then a bird might die. So Matt is saving the animals by leaving his window
Just
open.
like
So
here-
deal with the
here-
noise.
Like trying to do a
So
show.
go
and
ahead,
then
Matt.
FSU
Ignore
shows up
Vish
and-
laughing.
Well, what, you still want me to go? The garbage
Yes.
truck is still here. He's
Nah,
in the
go,
cul-de-sac right across from my
Go,
street. Okay.
go. That's what you get for living in the suburbs.
No, but I think it's going to be like a 9-man rotation. You know, first few games, like in non-conference, just to see what he has. I agree with Melissa too. In terms of, you know, I like Ja'Kai Robinson too. We didn't mention him in the exhibition. I like the role that he was playing. You know, he was playing really good defense. He was very aggressive and physical. Oh, there you go. Shout out Bryce. And then I think it's going to come down to like matchups and whatnot. Obviously, Chris Watson, Nwoko, AJ Casey, I think they're all going to play. I think Keyshawn George is going to be the main guy off the bench. And then I think from there, it just kind of depends on matchups and who separates themselves. But I think that Keyshawn has separated himself as the guy coming off the bench.
I think we kind of saw that in the fact that he started with Wooga out.
So
I think that's
let-
kind of
let me ask-
cemented him.
Let me ask this question then: are we actually going to see Watson or Ja'Kai play that much? Because if Keyshawn is coming in for Wooga and can play multiple positions, and then when we go to the bench, is it Casey coming in? Everyone's like, 'cause obviously Cleveland can play the 3. You know, Keyshawn can play the 2. So can Wooga. Like, is it actually going to be that we don't just, you know, rotate in Keyshawn and Casey and kind of slide everyone else around? Like, are we so sure we're gonna have a lot of play from Watson or Ja'Kai? Because I think certainly over the summer and kind of coming in more recently, we thought Chris Watson would have a major role. It doesn't appear like that's the case, at least based on what we're seeing. He doesn't even appear to really necessarily be ahead of Ja'Kai. So I'm curious if we're actually gonna, you know, not see those two play much.
I mean, that's an interesting point. I'm not sure. I mean, if you would have asked us a couple of months ago, we would have said, "Oh, Watson's going to have a role," and we've been talking about how we're not sure what Robinson's role is going to be. But Keyshawn's kind of emerged into the spot that maybe a lot of us thought Chris Watson was going to have. So that's an interesting conundrum.
And I think he could play the 2, 3, and 4. Cleveland could definitely play. He could probably play the 2 a little bit too, but he'll play the 3 and the 4, and it almost then becomes a situation where,
well, you
if
got
you're
to
bringing
think
Casey in at the 4 too,
yeah.
then you can.
You got to
slide
think if Nigel's coming out, you would think that we're not taking Nigel and Bensley off the floor at the same time.
Right, and that's
So
what
if
I'm kind of
Nigel's
going
out,
to.
Bensley's rolling into the point position. If Bensley's out, you still have Nigel at the point. And then you would have either, I guess, Wooga covering the point guard. Because, I mean, Coach L's already said it that Bensley is going to be covering the point guard. I don't know if you have Nigel doing that. I guess it just depends. If it's only for a few minutes, maybe.
Well, even if it's not, I mean, if Bensley's obviously not going to play the whole game, so when he comes out, someone's gotta. I'm just thinking I could easily see a 7 to 8 man rotation that does not include major minutes for Ja'Kai or Watson, just because if you bring Casey in at the 4, you can slide everyone, right? I mean,
you could also bring in the all defense team, and you bring in Chris Watson, who's a guard who's like 6'7".
I think Ja'Kai's probably a better defender, actually, but
yeah, but I'm saying like either one of those two, and you have Bensley guarding the point. I mean, it just depends. I mean, that's a big question mark, but I think the main rotation off the bench you're going to see a lot is Keyshawn. You're going to see AJ Casey, and you're going to see Nwoko.
Right, and I guess my point is, if you bring those 3 guys in rotations, you can actually get away with not subbing in anyone else because everyone else is versatile. But I think that's what Matt was talking about with starting with the 9-man and maybe having it shrink.
Yeah. Well, the question also is, what positions can Keyshawn guard? Because you look at his length, he's 6'8". He's technically the same height as AJ Casey. Is he capable of guarding the 4? Like, can you have him and Norchad guarding the 4 and the 5, and then have like Wooga, Nigel, and Bensley on the floor all at once if like Cleveland's out? Is that a possibility?
I mean, the other thing too is, can AJ Casey guard the 4? Because there was a lot of times last season where he struggled immensely.
I mean, we also asked him to guard the 5 though a lot. I mean, it was which depending on how effective Nwoko is, might happen again.
I thought it was interesting too. We didn't mention this from the exhibition, was that lineup. I think I messaged you guys about it, where Pack was in, Nwoko was in, Chris Watson was in, Keyshawn was in, and AJ Casey was in. So it was like 4 guys that are 6'7" and taller, and then Nigel. Pack. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, there are 4 guys in right now that are over 6'7". I'm like, this is all of our height on the floor at once.
Yeah, but I think you saw that. You see versatility at each position, right? Guys that can play multiple positions.
But I mean, and this is the kind of players that because everyone worries about how we don't have like someone really, really tall. Like we don't have a 6'10", 7-foot guy. But you put in these guys that are 6'8", 6'9", and you have a few of them on the floor at once, and they're muscular, so they're guarding the 4 and the 5, but they're way more athletic. And so it can cause a matchup problem for the other team on our offensive end as well. So if we can continue to play that small ball as well as we did last year, minus the UConn game, it'll work in our favor. We just need to figure out how to manage that when we're playing 7-footers. Like we managed it last year against Duke, but then we didn't against UConn. So, and Duke has their 7-footer who has now another year of experience. So
yeah, but F that guy. We'll get to that in a minute. But I think I don't think we necessarily managed it against Duke. We scored. Duke's... Like if we made shots against UConn, something was going to have to give. We couldn't throw in the ocean.
We weren't.
Duke might be playing a little bit of small ball though, with Filipkowski at the 5. He's only 6'8".
Well, so I guess we'll do predictions in a minute.
Kyle says, "I can't lie. Pat guarding 2 guards scares me. Hopefully, he has improved on the end of that floor. I would think his defense has improved from last season.
Well, generally speaking, how concerned are we about his defense?
I mean, I don't think it's like this is gonna sound. I don't think it's something that can really improve that much when you're talking about one-on-one. He's undersized. He's not like the greatest of athletes. He's not like a Shane Larkin who had a 44-inch vertical and was very quick.
He's improved a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only so much you can do for on-ball defense, right? Like off-ball defense, I think he's actually pretty solid. He's never out of position. He is always where he should be. He doesn't gamble too much. But that on-ball defense, I think it's always going to be kind of a tough problem. Like when you looked at last season when Joe Girard was cooking him, he was just backing him down, shooting over him. What are you supposed to do as he's a 6-foot player, listed at 6 foot. He's probably like 5'10", 5'11" Vish. You've seen him up close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're playing against a guy that's 4 or 5 inches taller than you, they're just going to shoot over you.
That's the risk you take, because if you watch the exhibition game, Pack is still shooting guys out of the gym. Not even close to the 3-point line.
Well, that's why
it look easy.
Well, that's the whole.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, and that's the whole concept of the team, though. At this point, like everything's a trade-off. We're not trying to match up 1-to-1 with anyone and play them straight up. We're basically saying we're going to run our 5 out there. You're going to run your 5 out. There's going to be mismatches everywhere, and we're going to win. That's kind of what. Because we're gonna exploit them better than you will, and that's kind of our overall approach. That's why it's why we got killed by Connecticut. We weren't able to exploit any of our mismatches, and they were. But that is the game we play. I do wonder. Kind of last question on this: do you think we'll see some more in Norchad at the 4 when Nwoko's in there and play bigger lineups as well, or is that something that's not?
I mean, I wonder how much improved Norchad's jump shot is. I mean, we saw him make 1 of 2.
Because as much as we say we don't have size, Nwoko's a legitimate big, tall.
But I mean, he's also a true freshman.
No, I know, but we didn't have one last year, so it was always start small, get smaller, because Favor Air was just not functional.
Yeah. Well, I think too the thing that separates Nwoko from bigs that we had last season, I think you see the potential on defense, right? Because he's so quick for his size, he's so strong. If he's guarding a guard for a possession, you're not as concerned as if it was someone else from last season, so you see that versatility. Vicious little smirk. So you see the potential
who you're
there.
talking
I
about.
think he yeah, well I think he definitely you touched on this a little bit, Melissa. He can definitely improve his touch. I think if he's not going to dunk and he has to finish at the rim, I think his touch was a little off to start. He kind of got more comfortable as the game went on, but I think that's definitely something he could work on and improve on. I mean, he's only a freshman. I think he has a lot of potential to play right away, and obviously in years to come as well. But I think it is something you could see, honestly, after seeing him play the first game. I don't know how much we'll see it like to start and whatnot, but I think that the versatility they have, the athleticism, I think it is something you could see.
Well, the
I
reason
think the big thing with him though is that with a true freshman and him playing like the 5, I don't think he's necessarily a liability, and I think you could possibly do it because I think he can handle his own on defense. Obviously his offensive game needs to get better, but I mean obviously it was an exhibition game. We'll see. But I don't necessarily think he's going to be a liability because he is well developed for a freshman as far as like body size and everything. And if his offensive game gets better and Norchad's jump shot is good and he can kind of spread the defense out, it'd actually be really interesting to see.
The reason I brought it up is you get into a situation like the Connecticut. It wasn't just the Connecticut game. Drake pounded the crap out of us in the paint too.
Yeah.
Having that tool in your tool belt, like actually we can play a big lineup. We're not going to use this all the time or even frequently, but we can throw 2 bigs out there and do something. Would be something that did not have the last several years actually.
Also, the big thing is, has Norchad worked on his not getting in foul trouble situation? Because that also.
So that is a good question. I think it's a complicated one though, right? Because part of the reasons he gets into foul trouble is because he's wearing a Miami jersey, so you can't work on that. Like if he played for Duke, he wouldn't foul out in any of these games. The other thing is like you don't want to take away his aggressiveness.
Yeah,
no,
like
you don't.
Then so it's kind of just gotta live with it. But no, I mean if he played for,
you also know that he can manage because I mean you watch the last 7 minutes of the Texas game. He had 4 fouls and managed to, But I think hopefully with Nwoko and AJ Casey, if him and one of them are in at the same time, hopefully that helps him and he doesn't have to be as aggressive.
Yeah,
but I mean a lot of it. But he goes
with Walker.
Yeah, but he goes for the balls. That's the thing. Like he doesn't, and you don't want to stop. Like he goes for every rebound.
Yeah,
and you kind of want him to. So, kind of one more question on this, and then we'll go into some predictions. So, my answer to this is Wooga, right?
Well, I'll take it as 2 different. So, I feel like we always have a guard that's going to pick up the ball at half court or even sooner. Mm-hmm. Bensley's definitely that. I think last year it was Wong. Before that, it was Charlie Moore. I think that's Bensley, but shutdown defender, like our best defender. I think Bensley's a hell of a defender, but I think Wooga, is going to take that step up and be the best defender on this team.
I think he kind of was last year.
Yeah, towards the end of the season,
like when we wanted to put him on a wing, we put him on their best player.
Yeah, but I think Bensley and Wooga took a step last year as far as defensively.
I think 2 years ago they were kind of worthless.
But like, I mean, you look like the first half of the year, everyone's talking about Bensley, and then I think the second half of the season, you see Wooga getting up to that level as well. I'll be interested to see how Cleveland is defensively.
That's the big
because you have Norchad out there, you have Wooga out there, you have Bensley out there. That's 3 very strong defenders. You put Nwoko next to Norchad, and then if Cleveland can be that defender, you could have a really good defensive lineup if you need it.
I think we just have to wait to see because he's playing a completely different position. So
no, it's true, but he has the athleticism. So I mean, we definitely have some really good defenders. Pack is not known for his defense, but his offense is insane. So you're not calling on him to be the elite defender. Bensley, on the other hand, is your elite defender who made some triples. So I like what I've seen from his jump shot. I'm hoping his offense has taken another step.
Well, it's gonna have to because again, we're not gonna just because of the way we play and the size of our team, we're not we're not trying to play games in the 50s and 60s. We're trying to play in the high 70s and 80s. So everyone's got.
I'm interested to see. Wong and Jordan were the ones that kind of took the game into their hands and were able to create their own shots. I'm interested to see who kind of steps up into those roles. I think we've seen that Cleveland can do it. I want to see Wooga take that step.
Okay, it's prediction time. I'm gonna skip the little what does it take to. This is kind of the same question there twice. So I am throwing out my own rundown here, and we're going straight into predictions. So who wants to step up first and this is on tape, just remember. And,
what, predict where we finish in the ACC?
ACC, how do you think the season ends? We'll start with ACC. Let's do it one at a time. So who wants to give a...
So ACC in the regular season. How it ends,
yeah.
The tournament.
Where do we finish? As Matt's getting rested, I guess, or something. I don't know what's happening here.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say we finish second in the ACC.
So you agree with the media predictions?
I think Duke is the team to beat. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be biased, but they return a lot of good players as well. Would I be shocked if we finish first? No, but preseason, I think Duke's the team to beat. So I'll say we finish second.
Matt,
I have a second as well. I mean, I have Duke as the number 1 team in the country, so. We're number 2 in the country. No, I have us finishing second in the ACC. It was tough to do, but I think Duke is going to be really good this season.
I think they'll be okay. I think we're going to be better. I like what we have. I like what we brought back. I think we have a lot of leadership within our team. And yeah, I think we'll win the ACC for the second year in a row. I think our coach is better. And I think that matters.
I agree.
And actually, this was something that came up in Leonard Hamilton's press conference, because I think he's now the oldest coach. And actually, it came up in Tony Benz too, because he's actually the second. You don't really think of him as that old, but he's like, yeah, you're now the second most longest tenured coach in the ACC, because everyone has retired in the last 5 years, like Boeheim, Coach K, Roy Williams, and all of a sudden, like. And I think there's been a drop off. Like, I don't think Hubert Davis is anywhere close to Roy Woods. I don't think John Shire is anywhere close to Coach K, and that makes a big difference over the course of the season, because everyone's going to run into bumps. Like, we're going to end up like losing to like Wake Forest or something. Like, what the F was that? Like, that happens to everyone, right? And I think Coach L is better able to navigate that. And I also think Norchad's game is going to take a leap forward. I think he is. Part of it was observing him up close and how. So he was kind of if you saw, he was kind of joking around with me because I was a friendly and I was talking to him in Spanish and stuff. But when the people, because most of the reporters there are from the Carolinas, they're asking questions about like Duke players, and he was. It looked like he wanted to kill all of them. When he was talking to them. Because it was kind of like, well, how do you do this? And how do you do that? It almost like he wanted to stand up and say, I'm Norchad bleeping O'Meara. Why are you asking me that? How am I going to defend Armando Bacot?
Right.
I don't know. I'm better than him. That's how, like, what are we talking about? Like, and I think he's very much like this whole team. Similar to how last year is just pushing to the Final Four. I think this team is pushing to something bigger. It doesn't mean they necessarily get there, but I trust them to navigate an ACC regular season, because that there's less up to chance when you're doing that over the course of 20 games at this point. They play in conference. I think we'll come out on top. Which to the next question, as Matt is going to
what a shot you took at Wake Forest too. I think they're actually gonna be pretty decent this year.
So I did some time in Winston-Salem this weekend. So my friend lives there.
So I went first with the regular season predictions. So I get to go last in our tournament predictions. So Vish, you go first with where do you think how far do we go in the tournament?
Oh, that's such a.
We're talking about the NCAA tournament, so we're just going to skip the ACC one.
How far do we go in the postseason?
It's a good question.
I know what he wants to say.
No, I mean, realistic. It's a realistic possibility. It's just you don't know until you like.
Should we talk about how we make it to the national championship game, or how we win the national championship?
Because we're better than everyone else. There, done. No, you want to do some actual basketball analysis? Go for it.
We really want to do a live pod from the Final Four in Phoenix next year. Like that is the ultimate goal, is for the three of us to be at the Final Four together to watch the Canes win the Natty. Like, and we will, like, if it comes down to like the last possession, one of us will be recording and we will be standing there and we will hit that shot to win
hold on,
and we will all just start bawling.
Hold on. I think you just volunteered someone while we're gonna be physically ill at that point to try and record.
I'll record it. I don't care. I'll bring a GoPro. That way I don't drop my phone.
I was not capable of operating a camera by the end of the Texas game last year, so I don't know exactly what you're thinking. It's like, anyway,
maybe like a few minutes later when we've managed to control our emotions.
All right,
we
so
can film a pod after we win it.
I kind of like Matt's idea better of talking about, because I think, look, realistically, this team could, like, this is not like predicting the football team is gonna, like, this is
realistically, we could make a run in the tournament.
If you're ranked in like the top 15 at the beginning of the year, you could realistically make the Final Four and win it, right? So, so rather than us all deciding whether or not we're going to get upset by Drake or not, let's.
It all comes down to matchups. There's controllables.
Which we have no
controllables.
Yeah, so let's talk about the controllables then versus like doing an actual prediction where it's an uncontrollable. Like, oh crap, we got this matchup.
I wanted to hear Vish say we were going to win it all.
Okay, we're going to win it all. You happy? I'll see you Monday night in Phoenix.
That'd be a great birthday present.
All right, Matt, why don't you give us the controllables then?
Controllables?
Yeah, how do we get how does that happen?
Well, so Norchad was voted preseason all ACC first team, right?
Yeah, and he's gonna get
and Nigel.
ACC
Nigel was second team.
Second team, yeah.
I think you definitely need Wooga to play at an all ACC team level. I think you need Matthew Cleveland to be what's the word I want to use here? You need him to be solid defensively.
Yeah.
And I think more importantly, you need to have some depth on the bench, which, I'm excited for the potential. I think Keyshawn is going to be a huge part of this team this season. But I think last year there was such a drop off when Norchad came out.
Yeah.
I think that there's still going to be a drop off, to put all this on Mike Nwoko and AJ Casey, whoever comes in for him, whatever, is a lot. But like when you look at like the advanced statistics and stuff, you look at like box plus minus and stuff, okay, I'll just say it. Anthony Walker and AJ Casey essentially last year were minuses, right? I think you definitely need Nwoko or AJ Casey to be more of a plus this season. And I don't know. That's the biggest question mark to me. And then I think too, like, we talked about it. We've mentioned a lot of guys coming off the bench, right? Maybe Coach L plays, nine guys the first few games and whatnot. But, who's going to be the two other guys? When you look at teams that are successful in March and have deep runs, right, there's usually a solid rotation of like 8 guys, right? 3 guys off the bench that are really good coming off the bench, and you don't see as much drop off. Who are those 3 guys going to be? Essentially,
we didn't have those 3 guys last year. So,
none of that.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't have that
national
last
championship.
year. I think.
You said
I think a big thing.
No, I make a run
Honestly,
and win the national championship is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think a big thing is how do we fill the void left by our 2 best players from last season, which were Miller and Wong. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 2 people. It can be multiple people who fill those roles, like Coach L said. But that's, Isaiah Wong was the player of the year in the ACC, and Jordan Miller did so many things that he never got credit for. How do we fill those absences, and then how do we get better? Because obviously, we lost in the Final Four. Like, that's a huge step. We got to the Final Four, but if we want to win the Natty, we need to fill those roles and then improve. So,
yeah, but I think that's true. But I think it's really fill those roles. We just need to. How do we become an overall better team? Because we're not. in a way, Jordan Miller's a unique player, so you were never going to try to even get
no,
another one of those.
you don't have to completely
but-
replicate it, but
No,
it's
but
still two voids.
I would say the bigger void's actually Wong, just because when stuff was going down, he could always get a shot up, and a good shot. And for him, pretty much everything was a good shot. Like he would be able to get to spots, and I think that we need someone to step up into that, because as much as Nigel shooting from half court is actually an option, I think that's where it's all Wooga. Like, can he actually, like, the ability to just have Wong ISO and just hit any kind of mid-range shot bailed us out so many times last year when we were kind of reeling a little bit, and someone's got to be able to do things like that. I think defensively is where Jordan Miller's loss will be. We'll see how Cleveland plays the 4, but that's where
I think Cleveland in that making being able to ISO and take a shot. Also, I think you can put Wooga and Cleveland in those categories.
I think he was more of a slasher though, and I think that the difference with Wong is he would take quote unquote bad shots that were good shots for him. So the defense is trying to get you to take like 2 steps inside the arc and take a little fadeaway mid-range jumper, and he would make it. And it's just like that's where it would almost punish the defense for forcing you into what's normally a bad shot. Chase you off the 3-point line, force you into a contested mid-range. Okay. That's my game, man. So
I think
that was like a cheat code. But I still think
Cleveland's gonna do it.
I think it's on Norchad. I think he takes his game to another level, and that's where the gains are made. I think he's going to be the best player in the ACC this year. And they'll probably vote for Filipowski anyway, but it's fine. We're used to it. And I think in terms of like how the team makes a run, part of it's matchups, part of it is, I do think we talked about this earlier, like Norchad not getting into foul trouble in the wrong game, right? Because there's going to be such a big drop off there. And he's not, if you try to hide him on the court, and I know he played, as Melissa called out earlier, the back half of the second half of the Texas game with 4 fouls, it does take away the aggressiveness. And that's part of what his game is that he grabs every rebound. And so if he's now got to manage that, it does take away some effectiveness. But I think he's going to be the best player on this team. And I think it's going to be on him. And I do think, though, the experiences from last year, again, similar vibe to the year before, where, all right, we've gotten this far, we're going to take another step forward. And that's the sense I got from, actually, I would transition, we got to do prize picks in the middle here, but both teams are kind of like, that was just the step one. We weren't happy with that. And so I do think all of that, that's where Norchad and Nigel, I think, as kind of the older players in the team, it's going to be on them to elevate the team. Because as much as we're like, oh, it would be great if we can get a, really good mids from Keyshawn and all that. It's on the heavy lifting is Nigel, it's Norchad, it's Wooga. Those 3 guys have been through it all, and they need to now take it to the next level.
Before we jump into the women's, so our depth last year off the bench was Bensley, Anthony Walker, and Harlan Beverly. And now it looks like a key part of our rotation is going to be Keyshawn George, AJ Casey, Michael Nwoko. Do you like our depth this year as compared to last year?
Yes, because I would put, so the rationale being, those are guys I would like to see on the court, and not, well, we don't have anyone else. And I feel like some of that, we basically had, if anything, we would have, if there were no fouls, no, if you're playing a video game, you turn the fatigue slider off, we wouldn't have subbed last year.
I think you would have subbed in Bensley.
I don't think so. You would have never said, oh, this would be good to get him some minutes instead of Nigel or something. This year I could see like, hey, you know what? Keyshawn's a better matchup here. It would be good to get him some minutes instead of like Cleveland. Like I could see that happening. Or I could see like, hey, we need another actual legitimate big on the court. Let's get Nwoko out there. Like you could see, at least I could see instances where I'd rather have the guys you mentioned on the court than the starter. Last year it was like, how long can we survive with Anthony Walker before like we implode? And He was just the best, tallest guy on the bench. And I don't think we're doing any of that this year. But I think our starters are weaker. So different team.
Oh well, I mean, you lose the ACC player of the year.
Right. No, but
you
that's
lose
why it's a
Jordan
different
Miller,
team.
so
We're stronger on the bench,
it's a
weaker
different
in the
team.
starting lineup. But
Even
although Cleveland does have maybe a little bit better offensive game than Jordan did. Jordan was kind of tweener. I feel like, I mean, he was in college forever, so obviously wasn't going to get another year, but like being more of a knockdown, quick release shooter would have, and he's probably already developed. I haven't seen him play yet, but they do that like that when you go into the pro level. but that type of stuff, just like even he could obviously shoot. He wasn't like a not shooter, but you know, someone that they'd have to like crowd versus, you know, the guy you leave in rotations would have. I think Cleveland can be a better jump shooter. Anyway.
Definitely a better jump shooter, but I think Jordan Miller was so efficient with that little like fadeaway shot he had.
Oh no, he was.
Like,
that's why he was. That's why it was kind of a tweener because he's. I mean, he's technically a guard that was playing.
It was almost
forward.
like feeding it to the post when you need to just get a bucket or whatever. It was.
Oh yeah, no, it's a different game.
Entirely. That or the Isaiah Wong baseline mid range jumper.
God, when did he miss? He missed that against someone. Was it? It was
yeah, I was shocked. It was. Yeah, that's when I
think.
Actually,
like, was it Drake?
No, he missed it. He missed it because the announcers were like, "Oh, you know, be careful with that shot. He always makes it," and then he missed it. And I'm like, "What the? Like, why are we trying to jinx the guy?"
We almost lost to Drake.
But we didn't. We won.
Yes, I know. I was there.
So, all right.
Hold on. Yes, we should get Jazz on here to read this. So the sponsor of Six Rings, Canes, Buckets, and 5 Reasons Sports is PrizePicks.com. PrizePicks is the official sponsor of the entire 5 Reasons Sports Network. When you register for a new account, if you use the offer code 5, that is FIVE, the word 5 spelled out, and deposit up to $100, PrizePicks.com and 5 Reasons Sports will match that deposit, again, up to $100. And the way you play is simple. You pick 2 to 5 players, you bet the over-under on a stat line, and if it all hits, you get paid out. The more players you include in your bet, the more potential payout is. So again, if you do 2, you get paid out less. If you do 5, you get paid out more. You got to hit them all though. So risk reward there, just like with our Canes offense and defensive philosophies here. But that is PrizePicks.com. Offer code 5. That is FIVE, and PrizePicks.com and 5 Reasons Sports will match your first deposit up to $100. That's 5. PrizePicks.com. Offer code FIVE. The number 5 spelled out. All right, the women. So the questions are good. You should be prepared for the questions because they're basically the same ones. But
I am not prepared. I will be.
All right, so let's talk schedule.
So what games are we looking forward to?
Yes.
Oh, can I go first because I feel like you guys are gonna
go for it.
Multiple answers.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to reference 2. One is the DePaul game because Coach talked about that one. Right, that it would be a good measure.
By the way, they beat the brakes off of us last year, so in early season. So
yeah, because of the offense, it's like a fast pace, right? Guard oriented.
Yeah, and that was one of the games Coach was suspended for, and the defense was ass, and there were some things going on.
That makes a huge difference.
Is that because of the Cavender's dinner?
That was because she took the fall for the school for being forward facing, and we are going to use NIL, and they decided they wanted to punish us. That's what that was.
Okay.
But yeah, December 8th, DePaul. Yeah. There we go. But yeah, go ahead, Melissa.
Do you have another one?
I was gonna say, I mean, you guys talked about the Baylor game all the time. So
I'll be there.
One.
That's gonna be a fun one. San Antonio.
In Texas, basically a home game for them, right?
Yep.
So I'm looking forward. I'll pick 2 games. I don't even have the schedule pulled up, so I'm going off memory here. I'm looking forward to seeing us play at Mississippi State. They're always a good program. Their women's basketball fan base or whatever that arena gets pretty hype. And start of the ACC SEC challenge. Where do we play Virginia Tech? Where do we play Virginia Tech?
It's at Virginia Tech.
At Virginia Tech. So that game is going to be crazy because Virginia Tech made the Final Four last year. So that will be a very interesting test for the team because they're arguably the best team in the ACC coming into the season. So
yeah, they're
or at
definitely
least in the top. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the preseason favorite. The ACC is loaded.
Is it going to be the best conference?
Yeah, it's actually not even close.
It's
it
really
hasn't been for a few years. A couple of years ago, had 2 of the 1 seeds. Like it's
what the men's used to be, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mississippi State and Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, you basically took all of the games, but let me see if I'll pick out another one here. That would be interesting. I mean, I'm going to a lot of those games too. When's Virginia Tech?
Yeah, this is going. You're going to the Baylor game, right, in San Antonio?
Yeah, and I'm going to Mississippi State and Baylor. Yeah. By the way, Starkville, not easy to get to. Speaking of flying and driving, flying to Memphis and driving 3 hours sounds like a fun time, but I'll let you know how that goes. I mean, those are the big ones that you all already went through. I would say we talked about. I'm gonna cheat a little bit here with the string of games. The ACC is going to be tight at the top. We should be near the top. When we did the original schedule breakdown, we talked about how this is road game front loaded.
Yeah.
Our last 2 games are Pitt and Georgia Tech at home, which are 2 of the weaker teams. And there's no one weak in the ACC, but 2 of the weaker teams. Got to win those 2. Take a 2-game winning streak in the ACC tournament. Winning 2 games in a row in the ACC might move us up the standings quite a bit too, because it's going to be tight there. And the goal would be to get. I mean, we've obviously a couple of years ago made the finals of the ACC tournament, but did the hard way. So getting all those buys would be nice too. So I'll go with those 2. Just finishing strong there. We tend to be playing our best ball at the end of the year. So yeah, taking care of some home games. Since you guys picked all of the other games.
Sorry. I tried to pick one. I didn't think you would pick I wasn't gonna pick DePaul, I'll say that, but I had Baylor, Mississippi State, and Virginia Tech on my radar. I just went right through them. But no, I think the road home, and actually the men's is a little bit different. There's like almost the opposite. Both the first 2 conference games are at home. For the women, it's like a lot of road games at the beginning, and then front and back loaded with home games. So be interesting to see if that impacts the overall record. All right, this one's more complicated than the men, I think. Rotations. So
starting
as
on this
far as
team?
starting lineup is difficult because of injuries. Are we assuming everyone's healthy?
Yeah, I think we can make that assumption. I think the only one that might be questionable at the start of the year is Latasha. I don't think she was going to start. I think she'll play quite a bit.
So I think, all right, I'm assuming everybody's healthy. So guard, obviously Cheyenne Day Wilson, obvious starter. I think Jalea Williams is your other guard. You've got Jasmine Roberts, so that's your 1, 2, and 3. And then as far as the front court, I don't know how you don't start Spearman, especially the way Coach has been talking about her. And then if Kyla's healthy, I mean, I don't know, because because Latasha and Kyla have both been injured, right?
Kyla's not injured.
I thought she was. Wasn't she out last year? She's fully recovered now.
She was not out last year. Latasha's the one who blew her knee out last year.
She only played like 6 games, right?
Yeah, she got injured against Michigan.
Latasha did. Kyla. I honestly don't know what our front court's going to be between. Coach Meyer's been talking about Lazaria so much that I feel like she's going to be in the starting lineup.
I'd be shocked if it's not Kyla and Lazaria. I don't think Latasha's going to start.
Are you thinking that just because she missed so much of the season that she might, kind of getting into the groove of?
Well, I also think the other 2 are better.
Okay.
And Kyla's a legitimate big, like a.
How tall is she?
Man, you're good.
6'6".
Yeah, like that. That is a big center in women's.
Jeez.
She could play center. She could play center on the men's team.
Actually, is our women's team starting center actually taller? Are we inflating heights on the women's side too? Because if we're not, then but
I know
yeah.
Coach Myers got me hype on Spearman. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, again,
she's talked about her so much, and with our interview and then other interviews I've seen, like she's got me hype on her.
Yeah, she talked about in the press conference at the ACC thing as well. Just unprompted, started talking about her. So I agree. I also keeping in mind, right, that we're talking about with Kyla and Spearman, players that were McDonald's All-Americans. So they're supposed to be that good. This is not necessarily. Obviously, Coach Myers is a great coach, and she's able to elevate players' games. But these were two players coming in that, like, yeah, these are two of the best high school players in the country. So you kind of should expect it, to be honest. Like, it's not outlandish to expect them to perform to that level.
Yeah,
and then Cheyenne Day Wilson.
Spearman was injured part of the year, right?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. She got injured against Syracuse kind of late in the year when she started off slow and then kind of picked it up and started getting more and more minutes and was really starting to get it going, and then got hurt, and that kind of. She came back for the end of the year, but was not up to really at game speed at that point. And then
I think our guard play is going to be insane. Not just starters, but depth in general.
Well, let's talk. So I mean,
more guards than Shawshank.
More guards than the men's team, to be honest. But
yeah.
But then so Cheyenne Day Wilson also, like, she was like freshman of the year in the ACC a couple of years ago at Duke. So just adding her to the team. Julia's told me she worked on her 3-point shooting. So
that'd be insane, honestly.
She could actually shoot. Like, you're not gonna be able to cover her.
You can't guard her.
Yeah. We'll see. See how that goes. All right, but you mentioned the bench. So how do you see that bench rotation working? So we just we have Lachey, we have Jada Patrick, we have Lamaya Hilton, Stedman, and Latasha Lattimore. That is 5 legitimate players you could roll off the bench. And Kate might even talk about I have 10 starters. So what is the
obviously Lattimore's in that rotation based off size, like that. She's part of the front court. She's healthy. You're gonna see her subbing in if someone's in foul trouble. Guard wise, I don't know if you see Lamaya Hilton get as much, like a lot of minutes, if any, in some games, just because I think she's developing. She's young. I mean, hey, if you can break that rotation, good for her. Because Jada Patrick is in her 5th year. She killed us at the Watt last year in a tournament. And you heard Coach Meyer talk about Stedman on the when she was on the pod a couple of weeks ago, saying how she could pretty much shoot over anybody, and that's something we didn't have last year. So I see her in the rotation. Lachey got plenty of minutes last year. I don't see how you're taking her out of the rotation. I mean, literally, you have 9-10 people that could easily be starters. The depth is kind of insane.
Yeah, I would say on Lamaya, the reason I think she's going to play a ton is Coach Meyer's always defense first. And
I don't know a ton about her, so you've got me on that one.
You should have watched the ACC media press conference, because all 3 of them were talking about her defense, and it was like, it's so great when she comes in because she'll hawk the ball and then I don't have to. Actually, it sounded like she said,
I didn't.
If you've heard Julia, if you've heard Julia talk, she's from Broward. She has a little accent to her, so it sounded like she said ball hog instead of ball hawk.
You're saying that. No, I haven't had a chance to watch the media days stuff because I was on vacation, and then I've had to go back to work, so I haven't. So I don't know a lot about Lamaya Hilton. I know she was highly regarded going into Arizona as a freshman this season.
I'm on TV and you don't even watch it. Come on, man.
I've been busy, my friend. I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you.
She sees you enough.
I honestly don't know a lot, so my bad with that. I just thought because she was younger and getting used to the system.
Her defense is something they all called out, and actually that's what Julia was talking about, how that takes some pressure off of her to have to always pressure the ball, because Lamaya will do it. I think we're going to see some hockey shift changes at times with this team, at least early. And Coach Meyer talked about that. Got to figure out. Well,
Like
you
a whole
just switch,
change it up where it's like 5 people.
you could potentially. There is a whole starting 5 on the bench because you could put Lachey at you could put Lachey at point guard, Jada Patrick at shooting guard, Lamaya Hilton at small forward, Stedman, I guess, as a stretch 4.
Stedman as the 4.
And Latasha
Lattimore.
as I mean, there's a legitimate. I mean, I don't think we're going to sub all 5 out like that, but I think you're going to steal. Like,
I don't know. Coach Meyer is pretty adamant about like how much defense they're going to play.
Right, and
So-
she also talked about, when I go to the bench, I tell them be better than the starters, do something better, add something, don't just survive those minutes. I think that she's talking defense. Like when we,
I don't know.
when we bring,
Like hearing her talk about some of the players, like gets me so hyped to think like, oh, we're gonna win the ACC because like she's like it's so exciting. But like
we'll get to predictions in a minute. That is
no. I'm not saying we're gonna.
That's a tall
but,
order
like,
though in this conference.
But like I it is. That's why I'm not saying we're gonna do that. But I feel like so the team made the Elite 8 last year. I feel like just in general, I feel like we're just gonna be significantly better. Like, I don't know where we're going to go in the tournament. Obviously, like we said for the men's, like there's so many contributing factors to that. But I feel like just overall within the ACC, I just feel like we're going to be so much better.
I think potentially, because I think we have better, like the thing that, and this is what ended up ending the season, which by the way, again, being around the women's team for that day in Charlotte, I think they're all, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but man, they're still pissed about that LSU game.
Yeah,
like,
they are.
If we just made a couple more threes, like, and LSU obviously went on to win the championship, and like we had them. And
well, because what was the final score of that game? LSU only scored like in the 50s, right?
Yeah, it was something. I mean,
yeah, they gave up over 100 points to Iowa in the finals. Like defensively, our team was on point in the Elite 8, but we just couldn't get the ball to get in the bucket.
It was 54-42 the final in that game.
Yeah, that's like the lowest LSU had scored like the entire season.
Yeah, no,
like,
and so I think they felt.
Yeah.
I think our team feels like they blew it because like they're like we execute everything we wanted. Because also, if you remember that game, it wasn't LSU defense; it was just missing easy shots, and I do think we're less prone to that this year because I think Cheyenne Day Wilson, better than anyone else on our team last year, can get her own shot. And we didn't really have like Destiny was the person we'd run it through, but she was much more of a on the block player. Her 3-point shooting was inconsistent. I think Cheyenne Day Wilson's ability to create her shot is something we hopefully would break some of those droughts this year, and legitimate multiple bigs to run through in the post and play high-low. There are other ways we're can score points. We're assuming
people can stay healthy,
I mean, there's 10 people, so I think the women would be able to take injuries a lot better than the men would. And
I think it comes down to how well they've kind of created that bond with how many people we've brought in. Because we have a lot of new people. So
I think that I'm not really worried about stuff like that with Coach. I think that'll be fine. I think it's more comfort on the court and how well we can play. I think the beginning of the season might be a little rough. It has been the last couple of years. So
that's what Coach said. He's like, we were a better team in March than we were in November.
Yeah, but kind of may transition a little bit to the next, the prediction side of things. One of the things we've had to do the last 2 Marches is go on the road and play at the 1 seed. And obviously, we upset Indiana last year, but that's not a recipe for sustainable success. So, getting off to a better start so you can host the first 2 rounds, which is, I think, a realistic goal for this team.
So for those who aren't as familiar with the women's NCAA tournament, if you're a top seed, you actually host your side of the bracket at your home court.
The first 2 rounds. The first
2 rounds, yeah. So getting that higher seed is actually, I mean, obviously it's an advantage because you're playing a lower seed, but it's even a bigger advantage because you play at home, which is a big thing. So getting a higher seed is definitely a way bigger deal in the women's side of the tournament.
Yeah, and I think this team has that potential, but they got to start well to do that. Like you can't get blown out by DePaul like we did last year and then try to host in March. So I think that'll be.
We were an 8 seed, 9 seed,
9.
9.
We were 8 2 years ago and a 9 last year.
Yeah.
Um,
Those games were stressful. We had to like come back from like a 17-point deficit at half against Oklahoma State, and then played Indiana down to the wire with Destiny Harden hit a shot to win it after Indiana clawed back and hit a 3 to tie it. Like stressful stuff. Then we played Villanova, and then the eventual champs. It was a fun run.
It was, and hopefully, if both teams are playing this time, the NCAA aren't a bunch of asses and put them on different days.
Yeah, we can own Indiana. You know.
No, I mean
same
like
day.
they really had to put the like they could have staggered it. They really had to put both Miami teams on Friday, Sunday last year. They really had to do that. That's a dick move. It is. But you don't have
Mitch
to
is
do
mad.
that. I am mad because I was trying to watch. Like I'm sitting in my hotel room in Kansas City watching the women play because about to head out the door because the men are gonna play. I gotta get down to the arena. It's like, what am I doing here? I watched the women's season end in a bar outside the stupid arena with like people coming up to me to take pictures with me and stuff. And I just want to watch this team play. And yeah, I'm pissed off. Why'd they have to do that?
Yeah, that was the
It was a
Elite Eight
dick
games.
move.
That
It was a
that
dick
day
move.
that day was so emotional because like the men win and make it to the Final Four, and then you watch
I mean, the
the
women
women's
just,
team play their heart out defensively, and we just couldn't get like. I can't even imagine what would have happened had we beaten LSU and both of our teams had made the Final Four.
I mean,
Um,
it was set up for it. Dallas and Houston. Man, you just drive that.
It would have
3
been
hours on
perfect.
I-45.
Driving distance. It would have been perfect.
I mean,
Someone wrote in the Professor Beam wrote, "Do you think Coach L has the team to make it back to the Final Four?" We did discuss this in the first hour of the pod.
download the audio. You'll be able to get
Yeah.
that section.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the audio podcast and you'll have it as a separate show. But
Yeah.
short answer, yes. He definitely has the team to make it. Will they? Will remains to be seen. We kind of broke down some of the things that need to
Do
happen.
we want to talk about ACC predictions for the women? It's a lot harder.
I mean, it's not going to be. I'm not going to be like, yeah, they're going to win it because it's just the hell out of it with this
No.
conference.
I think preseason they had us what, 5th?
No, I think it was like 7th or
4th?
6th.
7th?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was 5th.
Pretty sure it was more than that.
No, I could be
I
wrong.
thought it was 6.
It's with, hold on, I'm
I'm
pulling it up
probably
now.
wrong.
It was definitely
I'm-
not. I don't think it was
I'm
5th.
over exaggerating. I have so much confidence in my team.
Let's see. Here we go. It is 6th.
Told you.
Okay.
Barely ahead of Duke in 7th. Pretty far behind FSU, who's 5th. And so the top 5 are.
We knocked off FSU last year.
We did, and they also beat us in Tallahassee, and we're seated higher and whatever.
They didn't.
So
make
they
the
got
Elite Eight.
Virginia Tech 1, Notre Dame 2, North Carolina 3, Louisville 4, FSU 5. We're 6. Duke is 7. First place votes: Virginia Tech 45, Notre Dame 14, North Carolina 1, Louisville 1. None of our players made any of the watch the all ACC teams. By the way, there's some serious gatekeeping on this voting. They have a blue ribbon panel that the ACC selects to pick this. So I'm gonna guess there wasn't a big Miami representation on that thing.
So, what do you guys think? You
Well, I
think
mean, we
sixth
can
is,
we can just answer this real quick. So no, not this.
she's
year.
not coming back to Miami.
Well, especially not this year. Like, there's no way you can't bring in a bunch of new players, go on a bonding trip, and then have her show back up like after missing the whole
No.
off season. So I mean, I know people that frankly don't follow the program are like, oh yeah, she can technically come back. If you know this program, there's no way Coach Meyer is like inserting this back into this right now.
Mm-mm.
Like, she's spent the whole summer building chemistry through like getting all these new players integrated. They went on a trip to Europe to get to know each other, and the players talked about that a lot. Like, yeah, they played basketball, but the real important part of that trip was, bonding with each
Yeah.
other, and then just to come back and be like, oh, the celebrities.
I'll miss her free throw shooting. I'll miss her free throw shooting though.
Cheyenne Day Wilson's an excellent free throw shooter. We'll be fine.
Yeah, good stuff. She was pretty much ice from the line, like. But yeah, so do you guys agree with our 6th place finish in those rankings?
No. I think we'll do better than that. Not first, but so I'm looking at the teams in front of us. I think we can be better than Florida State, and I think we can be better than Louisville.
I was gonna say
So,
fourth.
I think we can finish fourth.
I think Louisville's women's team would beat their men's team.
I mean, I think half the teams in the ACC would beat in the women's ACC would beat their men's team. So, but I think Virginia Tech is legitimately, a threat.
I think Louisville's getting a lot of credit after they lost their best player to the transfer portal.
Yeah, but they had some decent depth. They have a good program. They have a good coach, so that's why it's almost like a knee jerk. You hit the Louisville button. But even with Van Lith last year, they weren't as good as they had been in previous years. So I think it's probably a positive for them to turn the page on that. But the reason I think North Carolina's got a ton of depth, so they're kind of who's in third in the. I don't think we'll be able to over the course of the. They always play us tough too. We always play like ass against North Carolina for whatever reason. So I just have PTSD. It's always like, how's it 30-6? What the hell is going on here? That only happens against us when we play them. So yeah, I think four, maybe five. I think we'll get one of those teams in front of us.
4 is a big deal because that's a double bye in the ACC tournament.
It is a double bye.
Yeah. So the difference between finishing 4th and 5th is a very big deal.
Yeah, well, we're fine anyway because we'll just be down like by 13 points with 4 minutes left. Then someone can score 15 points in a row and hit the buzzer beater to win the game. We'll do that again. That was fun.
You don't have Destiny Harden anymore.
It is time for the Jasmine Roberts revolution.
There you go. I'm saying, but
all right. So then the last kind of thing here is, so obviously the team made it to the Elite Eight last year. Can they take another? Again, we won't go into the whole we think we're gonna get this far because who the hell knows this far? But how do they, using Matt's on the fly little way to break this down? What needs to happen to get to the Final Four?
I mean, it depends on the matchups too. I mean, we keep running into the eventual national champions, but
this is why I said let's take that.
I don't think we need to. I mean, based off of what we said for the last half an hour, I don't think we need to worry about our defense. I just think we need to make shots.
I agree, and that's why I think it's going to be a lot on Kyla and on Spearman because they got to be able to score. We've even though they didn't go as far. We've had our better teams in the where we're able to play through the post. So I think that's probably a good barometer. Like if we're gonna get far, it's be able to get the ball to the paint and score easily. So Matt, I know you have to take off if you. I don't know. Do you want to go women's season prediction here or something, or how do you want
to? No, I kind of need to go right now. So,
all right. Well, again, you'll see Matt on the audio feed, on the video feeds, and all that. But
slight emergency. Everything's okay, but I kind of just need.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll
Matt,
text you guys.
Take care of that. Take care.
Bye, Matt.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Well. I mean, we're trying to get you loose. Well, now that he leaves, we can really get into it. So no, I'm just kidding.
Matt's just sitting there. I'm surprised he didn't break out his kendama.
But I think that's, if we can score in the paint, that alleviates a lot of kind of what went wrong last year when things went wrong.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at those two as kind of being the key.
Yep. Agreed.
But do you think I mean, look, we made a run as a 9 seed last year. It wasn't exactly like we dominated all year and made the Elite Eight. So how much?
The thing with the women's side of things is it's very top heavy. I mean, we ran into a 1 seed and beat them. I mean, and the first round we were down 17 at the half and came back and won. So it really depends on matchups. I mean, I said it before. I feel like our women's team can go further in the tournament than the men's team. Like, I feel like we just have so much more improvement. Not saying that the men's team isn't gonna like go on a run, but like I don't know. I have a lot of hype for the team this year on the women's side.
Yeah, I do too. I think the men are. It's still much more easier to control men's basketball than women's because, like you said, there's just a few teams that if you like, we could, finish well in the ACC, get a like a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, which you think about it's top 15, and end up playing a monster team in the Sweet 16 or something. And it's just like there is still that gap, which I don't think we're at the top level yet. I think we're probably a step below it. I think we've made a lot of progress, but we're still like a step below this is like the Connecticut, LSU now at this point level. That level is a little bit different than what we're at right now. But like you said, we were able to beat a 1 seed last year, so who the hell knows? On their court.
I mean, it depends on matchups. I'm really excited about the additions Coach Meyer has brought in. I think the team is better. So I mean, a lot of people that are watching this probably don't follow the women's team at all. They're here for the men's basketball talk, but the women's team is going to be really exciting this year. So y'all definitely need to check them out. If you live in the Miami area, go to some games, support them. Tickets are like $5.
$5
a game.
$5.
Yeah,
you can go in there for $5.
So I mean, season tickets I think are like $50 or something.
No, that's not ours. Ours I think are 100.
Oh, they're 100. Okay. But no, Coach Meyer's got this team on the rise. I mean, we made the Elite Eight last year. I think we have more talent on this year's team.
I think we'll be a better team. That doesn't necessarily mean we'll go as far. That's the way the tournament's structured.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I don't know. I think the team's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and who doesn't love Coach Meyer? Honestly, like she's been on our pod twice now. She's named the show. I literally saw her at a lunch event thing a week and a half ago, and she asked me how my vacation was with my mom after seeing one tweet from me. So all the love to Coach Meyer.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good season, and the tournament
really
is a
is.
bit of a crapshoot. I do hope we can play well enough in the regular season to get those games at home. Because that does remove a lot of the chance. Look, obviously teams could go on the road and win, and we did it last year. But that does remove a lot. It does remove a lot of kind of the variability if you get those games at home, and I think we do have that potential. We have in the past, and we've lost at home in the past. So, but I think
it's going to be difficult because I only say it's going to be difficult because if you look at the first part of our ACC schedule, it's so top heavy with road games. So we're really going to get into the thick of it really quickly.
Well, there's opportunities,
and then hopefully we'll end well with women games. But there are some good opportunities to get some really good wins.
Yeah, and then again, out of conference is tough too. At technically neutral site Baylor, but it's at Mississippi State.
It's in San Antonio.
Yeah. Those are, it depends on how you look at it. Those are tough games, but they're opportunities.
Resume builders.
Yep, there are definitely opportunities on the schedule, and then obviously when you get into conference play, if you finish well in the ACC and women's basketball, you'll get to host. So like you can finish in the top 2 or 3. For sure, you'll play home games. If you finish in top 4, probably, and I think that's realistic.
Yeah. What's up, Crip?
You've got fans.
He's from the Coop channel. That's my boy. Crip's an OG.
Okay, so I think we've just kind of transition here to the end state, so you can cue the Sox outro. So there are games next week. It is time.
Yeah, there is. The season starts, and it's gonna get crazy for those of you who have been following us. We're not really gonna have these 2-hour episodes anymore. We're gonna have, when 2 of us are available, we're just gonna get on here and break down whatever games we've seen, maybe talk a little bit about what's coming up, but it just, whenever we can talk hoops, we're going to be on here. So make sure you're following our Twitters and the Six Ring Canes Twitter. because there's going to be a lot of talk because it's going to be men's and women's and there's multiple games a week. So, and
Yeah,
we're your
and-
only place for Canes Hoops content.
Yeah, seriously, no one else even went to the freaking kickoff but me and Charlotte. So from
Yeah,
Miami
Vish
Media.
was the only person repping Miami at ACC Media Days from the media. So
Yes,
if you want hoops content, tune
which
in.
I broke news to Coach L when I told him that.
Mhm.
From Miami.
So yeah.
He was surprised there
But
was
y'all
anyone there.
make sure you guys are supporting both teams, men's and women's. If you're in Miami, get to some games. The teams are going to be good this year. It's going to be
and
really
just-
exciting.
Yeah, and just to look ahead to next week, the men play Monday against NJIT at 7 p.m. And
At home.
UCF. Yeah, these are both at home, and UCF at home on Friday at 7 p.m. So a couple opportunities to check them out. And the women on Thursday host Jacksonville, and on Sunday host Fordham. And against
I'm
Fordham,
off Friday and Sunday.
Yeah.
That's opportunities to go
There's
to two games.
opportunity to go.
I
two
work
games.
Thursday and Monday, but I'm off Friday and Sunday. I might be able to knock out a men's game and a women's game to start the season. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and I guess
Gotta
the
look into
other thing to look at there is it doesn't say when on the men's time they're gonna do this. My guess is Monday they're gonna do the banner unveiling would be my guess, but it doesn't actually say it there on the game.
Man, I would love to be there for that.
But the women is Sunday. It says that on the schedule, so they're not doing it on the first game. So I'm wondering if the men.
Oh,
would do
they're
it
doing
on-
okay. Can make
They're
the
doing it
women's
on-
one.
they're
You're not
doing
in
it on
town
Sunday.
next weekend, are you? No.
No, I'm here. I'm telling the weekend after that because we're going to the Louisville game. But
Hopefully we will.
and then I'm staying through like holidays. But yeah, so I got to figure out when they're doing the men's because I'm looking and I'm not seeing it anywhere.
Yeah. Two very important banners going into the rafters: a men's Final Four for the first time and a women's Elite Eight for the first time. So
yeah, but the women's, it says it right here: Fordham
Sunday.
Sunday 2
Okay.
p.m. Elite 8 banner unveiling on November 12th. So yeah,
That'd be
definitely
awesome.
definitely check that out. Support these teams. Like we're by far had the best men's women's combination last year. So
One of the top coaching duos in the country.
yeah, and it showed up on the court. So yeah,
Yeah.
you know, we've gotten now, especially on the men's side, lazy with the Elite 8, Final Four, and all. Like these are still like.
I mean, it's only the progression. Elite 8 2 years ago, Final Four last year. I mean,
Yeah, but definitely if you can, again, I'm assuming it's probably the first. They might do it on the Friday game just to get a better crowd for the banner unveiling. But yeah, I mean, look, seeing a Final Four banner unveiled is a hell of a thing. So definitely make it
yeah,
out
if it's
there
on
you can.
Friday, I may end up at those games by myself because I want to see them. And you're my basketball buddy, so and you're not in Miami that weekend, so
No, unfortunately, can't make it down that weekend. In Florida State, that's
my two besides you and Matt, my other friend that's a big basketball fan doesn't live in Miami either, so it's hard. Got to get people more into hoops.
We'll get to some games, but those two I can't do.
And we got an NFL game coming up too.
Yep, a lot of stuff to go to. Maybe the Colorado game in New York if you make it up. I'm definitely going, but
Yep, I got to look into flights, but there's definitely a possibility there. I happen to be off that weekend, so
all
that'd
right.
be fun. Never seen Barclays, so good stuff.
I haven't seen it either in New York a ton, but it wasn't.
I mean, I've never been to Madison Square Garden either, and that's the more important.
Would have
one,
been
but
much
it's fine.
easier to attend the game there. Why didn't they put it there?
It's
Let's
fine.
go out to Brooklyn.
We'll figure
man.
it out. If y'all are still watching this, thank you.
There are some people.
Good stuff. We always have a nice ramble at the end. I think that might be the most on topic we've been, like, longest.
I had to
amount of
fight
time.
both of you for 20 minutes, but we finally got on schedule. So
Somehow food always comes up.
I think it was Kane's Day, I think that started it with the Zaxby's, and then we just
The
went off the
Zaxby's,
rails.
and then Matt saw me eating Chick-fil-A, and it was a whole thing. But thank you all for watching. Catch us next week, possibly on multiple days.
Well, I think since you're free, you and I'll probably do something on Tuesday.
Yeah, because usually we're Wednesday or Thursday, but I'm working both those days, so we may throw something together.
Yeah,
on
I'll probably
Tuesday
do a little recap of the NGIT game, probably.
Yeah, I gotta figure out if there's some way to stream that because I'll be at work for that game, so I gotta find a way to watch it.
It'll be on ACC Network X, and so that means that anything on the ESPN app, you just watch it there.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Replay
yeah,
available.
so I can watch it, and then you guys will probably see Vish and Matt either Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, probably Target. I'll talk to Matt, but probably Wednesday because I don't want to do it during the women's game on Thursday. So
true. So you guys can break down a little bit of more of whatever we missed. Plus, Matt's better at like the little basketball nuances and that stuff. He definitely breaks the game down better than I do anyway.
Yeah, and I might throw some stuff on game. I'm still, if I even remember to do this, game day mornings, I might throw a quick hitter on the audio pod. So definitely subscribe to that. If I end up at any of
the games, I'll definitely give a perspective from that. Maybe get some film of the unveiling of the banners if I'm in a good spot to record it. So anything else, Vish?
Yeah, I've got a Formula One show in 8 minutes. So
good stuff. Jazz was worried, but thank you all for watching or listening. If you're listening to this later, make sure you all hit up Prize Picks and cue the Sox outro. Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks.